What happened 250 years ago lit a fire that spread across the world. When America's founders wrote down the core ideas of democracy and then fought to defend them, it started conversations about self-government everywhere. We all remember the big line from the start of the Declaration, right? Liberty. The pursuit of happiness. But the next line is the one people forget. The founders said governments are created to protect those rights, and that the power of government comes from the people who agree to be governed. In 1776, that idea was revolutionary. It was the shot heard around the globe. That bold leap of democratic thinking also created a unique kind of civic identity here. This is a nation held together not by one king, one faith, one history, or one background. What holds us together is an idea that this country can be an example, a light for others. What we often forget is this system was never meant to be frozen in time. The founders did give us a finished product. They gave us a project that every generation has to keep working on with effort and new thinking. That's our job now, to keep that democratic imagination alive, to make sure our republic does get stuck, rigid, or bitter. So why am I here today? I am at the Pew Research Center. Our job is to listen to Americans, to understand where people are at. We ask a lot of questions, and we don't take that lightly. When we ask you about your views, your worries, your values, you are giving us something personal. So our job is to listen with respect and report back clearly. And what we're hearing lately is tough. People feel worried, stuck, divided. But if you listen deeper, you also hear something else. You hear determination. You hear people ready for new ideas. That sounds a lot like the spirit of the founders. And I think that's our way forward. Let me start with the hard part. Where are we right now? Americans feel caught in a negative cycle. It has three parts. 1. Partisan division. It's not just that we disagree on issues or candidates anymore. At a civic level, we distrust each other. We even use dehumanizing language. The U.S. stands out globally for this. During and after the pandemic, we ran surveys worldwide on vaccines, lockdowns, government response. Americans were among the most divided in every country. After the pandemic, 81% of Americans said the whole experience pushed us further apart. That was the highest of any country we studied. 2. Civic disconnection. Basic trust in neighbors has dropped over the last 40 years. People have started to doubt the wisdom of the crowd. But that idea is the foundation of democracy. Last year we surveyed 24 countries. Americans were the least likely to say they feel connected to other people in their country. And among the least likely to feel connected in their own local community, distrust in the system. Faith that government will do the right thing has fallen and stayed low for over 20 years. Today, more Americans believe elected officials care more about winning fights and personal gain than listening to the people they represent. These three things feed each other. Division, disconnection, cynicism, and they were made worse by fragmented news and social media algorithms. The result? People feel like the country is being pulled apart. The common ground feels weak. As we enter this 250th year, 59% of Americans told us the country's best days are behind us. Only 40% said they were still ahead. 59 to 40. If that's how you feel, the question is, what do we do? I think it starts with each of us. So here are three things. First, put the phones down. I see a few smiles in the dark. We know it's true. These devices are taking our most important resource in communities. Our attention, our ability to actually connect with people face to face. Second, talk to each other more. Right now, people are scared to talk about democracy because the conversation always starts with complaints, fears, and differences. But we can change the frame. We can talk about hopes, about what we want to build together. Is it easy? No, especially with a stranger. But someone has to take the first small step. And those steps add up. Third, remember that solutions exist. The Constitution signed a mile from here in 1787 gives us that right. It gives us the responsibility. The founders knew no system of government can stay still. If it does, it breaks. They could imagine AI, but they did understand that polarization would show up and needed to be managed. They could imagine how big and diverse the country would get, but they knew representation would need constant updates or it would get manipulated. Look at redistricting today. They could imagine how much money would be in politics, but they knew money would always be a challenge to fair representation. Every time you solve one problem, a new one appears. That's not a bug. That's Democracy. So yes, we can name what's wrong. But we can also talk about fixes. Last year, we asked Americans, what would you change about the political system? They had a lot of answers. A huge majority are open to major reform, more than in most other wealthy countries. Their top priorities: better representation, less money in politics, and less toxic partisan fighting. They were willing to discuss ideas both old and new. Term limits, age limits for officials and judges, changes to the Electoral College, other voting reforms. I'm not here to pick one. I'm here to say, we need to actually debate them. We need to take them seriously. We need the courage to change a system that most Americans agree is broken. Think about it. It's 2026, and we have had a serious national conversation about amending the Constitution in 55 years. Since we lowered the voting age to 18. The last time we went that long without an amendment was right before the Civil War. We have to remember, democracy is meant to be active, meant to be shaped by us. But we've gotten scared. Scared of what might get worse. Scared it might help the other side. So we stopped imagining how to make it better. Go back to the Declaration. After listing those rights, after saying power comes from the people, it says this: when any government becomes destructive to those goals, the people have the right to change it. In 1776, they meant overthrow and start over. But their hope was that future generations would update and improve the system they built. Solutions 1 to just appear. It takes work. But if we want this country to stay united, to grow, and to inspire the next generation, we have to make that same brave leap of democratic imagination. Thank you.